As we enter the month of December, we are very curious to know what the wealthy investors are trading for the overall stock market indexes. Are they bullish or bearish? And for which indexes are they bullish or bearish? Because when we take a look at two different stock market indexes, we found some very unusual results. And so in this video, we will review the QQQ ETF, which tracks the Nasdaq index, and also the IWM, which tracks the Russell index for small caps. So without further ado, let's get to the data analysis as usual. When we take a look at the options time and sales tape, we are looking for the most significant and meaningful data point. And the one we found that was most significant from today were these at 9:50 a.m., these 8,000 contracts. Okay. And part of the reason why this is most significant is because we know that these are opening trades. Okay. So when we take a look at the March 2024's 391 strike calls, and we'll also take a look at the June 2024 395 strike calls. Okay. So this is what we mean by opening trades. We take a look at the March 2024's. This is 102 days away. Now, when we go to the 391 strike calls right here, notice the volume here, the 8,000 is here, much greater than the open interest. And that is how we know these are opening trades. Okay. We believe they had sold these to open. Okay. And when you take a look at the June's, this is 200 days away. We can see that the 395s are over here. Notice there was 11,000 open interest. So this is actually greater than the volume of 8,000. We believe these were being closed. Essentially, they were closing out this trade and rolling it down the strikes to the 391s, which is this trade. Okay. And so they closed that trade in June to open the March closer expiration cycle. And this is what the trade looks like. Essentially, it is a mildly bearish trade. The stock can still go up. You can see that it could come up as long as it doesn't break this break even at 405. By March, this trade will still be profitable. Okay. So that's why it's mildly bearish, not very bearish or bearish. So there is a break even that is above its current stock price. Okay. So it has room for potential bullish upside still. Okay. Now, to do a trade like this, each of these call options to sell requires about 8,500 buying power to sell a call option at the 391 strike calls for March 2024. Since we know they did 8,000 contracts, this is a total of $68 million trade value. This is how much buying power this investor needed to put on this trade. That is why we know that this is a very wealthy investor. Okay. So let's move on to the Russell. Again, let's take a look at the options time and sales tape. And when we take a look at this, the most significant trade that we see is actually this 7,500 right here, done at 151, and this one here at 151. Okay. You can we'll also take a look at this one, but would like to show this one first, okay, because this one was very significant. September 2024's 180 strike puts, 200 strike calls, 7,500 contracts. Okay. So the September 2024's, even though the date is very far away, 291 days away, it is still significant that the fact that this investor put the trade on today, because they could be profitable immediately, or they could be losing immediately as well if the stock goes against them. So at the 180s, we notice here the open interest is slightly greater at the 180. But when we go to the 200 strike calls, notice how the volume is a lot greater than the open interest at the 200 strikes. Okay, so we believe they are buying the 200 strike calls to open, and they are selling the 180 strike puts to open. And so this is their trade. And you can see from this trade, by looking at the deltas, you can see here, positive 77, that this is a bullish trade. You can see that they can immediately start to profit if the Russell index starts to increase. And they would start to lose if it starts to decrease as well. That's what we mean when we said that even though this expires in 2024, it still is significant that this trader put the trade on today. Notice they are hedged here at expiration at the 180. See the blue line is flat here, meaning they won't lose much if the Russell does not drop below 180, or the index ETF IWM. Okay, so what did this trader spend to get into this trade? Well, we know that they sold the 180 puts, essentially saying they're willing to own 100 shares of IWM at 180 per share. That's 18,000 per contract, and they did 7,500 contracts. This was $135 million of buying power required. So quite a significant trade. Okay. Now, when we take a look at the 24,691, notice that this time and this time is the same. So this is the same trader executing this trade. Okay, so you can see here what is going on. when we take a look at the chain, this is the 185 strike calls. This is the 190 strike calls. There's only 7,700. This one has 24,000. Okay. So when we take a look at that strike price, notice here that at the 185s, we have a lot of open interest here at the 185s here. So there is a higher probability that this is a closing trade, that they are closing this out. So it's not so significant. Okay. And when we go to the 190 strike calls for the March 2024s, notice here we have 39,000 open interest here at the 190. So these could also be closing trades, right? And so that is why it is not as significant as the one that we had just shown earlier, which were these 7,500 for the 200 strike calls, and the 180 strike puts, the 7,500 here. These done at 151 3-second mark are the more meaningful and significant data for the index Russell ETF IWM today. Okay, so comment below, what do you think will happen to the stock market indexes this month for December? If you are interested in how we use this type of analysis to get an edge in the stock market and beat it, then make sure to go to our website where we have more information on our strategies, and there is also opportunities for you to get new trade ideas, and also join our membership where we share exclusive content for our members only, where we use this type of analysis to predict which stocks will do better and outperform the stock market. So we'll put a link to our website over here, the top here. And as usual, please smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell icon, and you will be notified of unusual options activity. Take care and have a wonderful day.